Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to our program, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this segment of our program, we'll be looking at some questions which have been sent in the course of some of our lectures. A number of the questions are quite useful, quite beneficial, I think, to all of our viewers. And so we'd like to share them with everyone. The first question is one which was raised in a lecture given in Ireland recently, in which the person questions, dear Dr. Bilal, what is your advice to Muslim sisters when we are in circles of learning? Sometimes a sister will disagree with another concerning certain hadiths. One saying she's right and the other one saying she's right. What's your advice? Well, we have circles of learning, and of course it is something which is very good for Muslim women to gather in the home of one of the women or whatever on a regular basis and study together. Take some good Islamic book, read it together, share it with each other, as Muslim women, because not having the opportunity to go out as much as men, this is an opportunity that we should take to increase your Islamic knowledge, because seeking knowledge is compulsory for all Muslims, and this is a very good way for Muslims to gain. Because sometimes you get a book, you intend to read it, you like to read it, but on your own, so many distractions in the home, in your job, if you're working outside or whatever, that by being in a circle you're with others, like-minded people, this helps as encouragement for you to do the necessary reading, or others may read and share with you. So this idea of being in circles is a very good idea. Anyway, so what happens in the circles? From time to time, people may disagree. Somebody expresses an opinion based on a particular hadith, and another person may say, well, this hadith is not correct. What do? Well, our basic principle, as Allah tells us in the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know if you don't know. Normally for disputes and differences, we're supposed to take it back to Allah and the Messenger, right? Back to the Quran and the Sunnah. But now if the issue is over the Quran or the Sunnah, then we need to take it to those who have higher knowledge of this. And to have disagreements is something natural and normal. We shouldn't feel that it's bad to have the disagreements. But of course, we shouldn't allow the disagreements to reach the point where we, because somebody says Moses is right, and someone says Moses is wrong, we have two camps. People split up and say, okay, no, we'll have our own circle for those who agree with me, and those who don't agree with me, they can have their own circle. No, this is not good. Because disagreements are natural. The point is, we need to resolve it. Because if you split off and say, okay, no, I don't want to be with these people anymore, I have this opinion, all those who are with me, I'm this opinion, let's go. After some time, another dispute is going to arise. And then what? When somebody disagrees with you, they're going to split off and say, oh no, okay, we want to go off and have our own. And that is what has created, oftentimes, many parts of the Muslim world, a variety of different organizations, etc. Some organizations, it's just the president, the treasurer, and the secretary. That's all. Just three people. They've become an organization. Now, I've met this in a number of parts of the Muslim world. People just, as they say, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Or too many cooks, spoil the broth. That's the bottom line. People just wanting to be on top. Their opinion, they want to be running things, and it should be the way I think, and so forth. This is not the way. It's not this kind of thing. It's split up many organizations, communities. No, we need to be tolerant of people's different opinions. So we've understood a particular hadith or statement of the Prophet. May God peace and blessing upon him to be correct, authentic, and we present it, and somebody says, no, we heard this is not authentic. Okay, let's find out. Let's go to some sources. Where is the evidence that you have that it is authentic? Where is the evidence it's not authentic? Let's put it down and look at it. And if it is something in the end, either it is they end up being one is right or the other is right. And in which case, okay, whoever is right, we follow that one and we carry on, put it aside, or let it split us up. But if we reach a situation where we can't resolve it, there's evidence to support that it's right, there's evidence to support that it's wrong. What do we do here now? If the person who's seeing the evidence supporting is right really feels convinced, yes, this definitely is right, then they go ahead with that. Those who see that the evidence is definitely wrong, they go ahead with that. But they continue to work in other areas. At this particular point, they disagree. And they agree to disagree. They carry on. You know, while recognizing each other's right to disagree. Of course, if it is just on the basis of desire, where a person sees the evidence, well, hey, really it's wrong, but they don't want to lose face, you know, it's a matter of honor and pride and all these other things. Well, of course, this is evil, because our desire should be to seek knowledge, to find the truth, to find what is correct, and to follow that. So, what we do is when we have these kind of differences, we try to resolve it by going to a higher source. And if we don't find a resolution for it, then we just have to accept people having different opinions and carrying on until such time as we find a means of resolving it. If we never find a means, it doesn't mean that, you know, we cannot work together. It means that our whole religion now falls apart. Somebody's completely wrong. No, it's a minor point, a particular issue. Then we put that aside and carry on working on the bigger issues, the other issues that there are, and there's so many for Muslims to get together and to work. Our second letter concerns sex education. The viewer writes, dear Dr. Bilal, when should parents discuss sex with their children? And what sort of age would it be appropriate, rather than to have it taught in school? This question was raised, obviously, in the Western context, in America, in Canada, England, France, these big countries. You know, sex education has been introduced to schools, maybe all the way down to primary school. You know, I know in Canada, in primary school, there teachers are coming into classes with what they call dolls, which are anatomically correct, meaning the private parts are there, and demonstrating for the children, you know, what is involved in sex, where do the babies come from. You know, they feel they're enlightening the children rather than this being something, you know, strange to them, misunderstood, they don't understand it, what happens, and so on. So they decide they're going to explain all of this. But in fact, what it does is corrupt the minds of children. Children who normally would not be thinking about these kind of things are putting these thoughts in their mind. So what does a Muslim do when they find themselves in this kind of situation? You know, one, of course, parents should try, Muslim parents in Western circumstances should try to keep their children out of sex education. In terms of the home, what does one do? Well, I mean, children should know, and they will figure out at a certain age when you'll find little kids will come and say, you know, I'm a boy, I'm pointing to myself, you're a boy, and or they may say, well, you're a boy, you're a man, and then they'll point to the sister and say, she's a girl, and to the mother and say, she's a girl, or she's a woman, something like this. They have recognized that there's some anatomical differences and linked people. They will come to this conclusion themselves, without anybody having to tell them. Of course, when a woman, or a young woman, is going to be married, it is important for the mothers, the elder sisters, or whatever, who are already married, whatever, to give her some kind of explanation, you know, to explain something about what's going to happen on the wedding night and these kind of things, you know, what to expect, you know, what is involved in sexual relations. She needs to know that. That is the time when she needs to have that knowledge, so that the situation doesn't become traumatic for her, etc.